There is a reason you feel different, a reason why the world doesn't seem to understand you. You may have spent years questioning why relationships feel distant, why people don't see you for who you truly are, or why you often find yourself alone, walking a path that others don't recognize. You are not broken. You are not forgotten. You are being called to something higher. It can be painful, this feeling of isolation. Sitting alone, wondering why life doesn't flow for you the way it seems to for others. Watching friendships fade, connections fall apart, and realizing that no matter how much love you give, something always feels missing. But I want you to consider something. What if this solitude isn't a punishment? What if this loneliness is actually a gift? A sign that you are meant for something more, something greater than the life you see around you? There are people who walk this earth with a deeper purpose, with an energy that doesn't fit into the normal patterns of society. They think differently. They feel more deeply. They are the ones who question the world while others follow blindly. And because of this, they often walk alone, not because they are unloved, but because their path requires solitude. Most people fill their lives with noise, constant distractions, endless conversations, shallow connections. But you are being pulled towards something deeper. You are being asked to grow, to evolve, to awaken. And that kind of journey cannot be walked in a crowd. The world may not recognize your value yet. The people around you may not understand your soul. But I promise you, your existence is not a mistake. Your solitude is not a curse. It is an initiation. Say this with me now. I am exactly where I need to be. My path is unfolding in divine timing. I trust my journey. Breathe in those words. Let them settle in your heart. Because today we are going to explore the real reason why you are alone, and why that might be the most powerful thing that has ever happened to you. Loneliness feels heavy because we have been taught to fear it. From childhood, we are told that being alone is something to avoid, that success means being surrounded by people, that happiness comes from relationships, that being alone is a sign of failure. But what if that is not true? What if being alone is actually a doorway to something greater? Think of a seed buried deep in the soil. It is alone in the darkness, unseen, untouched. But in that solitude, something miraculous is happening. It is preparing to break open, to push through the earth, to grow into something strong and beautiful. Without that time in the darkness, it would never become what it was meant to be. You are that seed. Your time in solitude is not wasted. It is not a punishment. It is a preparation. The world may not see your growth yet, but something is shifting within you. You are evolving, healing, transforming. And when the time is right, you will rise. Many of the greatest minds, the most enlightened souls, walked alone before they stepped into their purpose. Jesus, Buddha, great spiritual teachers throughout history, all spent time in solitude, deep in thought, deep in transformation. It is in these quiet moments that the most powerful truths are revealed. Your loneliness is not empty space. It is a sacred space, a space where your true self can emerge, where you can hear the wisdom of your own soul. In the noise of the world, it is easy to lose yourself, to get swept up in other people's expectations, other people's fears. But in solitude, you get to meet yourself fully. You get to reconnect with your spirit, with your intuition, with the deep knowing that has always been inside you. Say this with me. I embrace my solitude as a path to my greatest self. I trust that my journey is unfolding exactly as it should. Feel the power in those words. Solitude is not an accident. It is a gift, a space for growth, for healing, for awakening. And when you begin to see it that way, everything changes. Not everyone is meant to walk the same path. Some people are here to follow, others are here to lead. And then there are those who are here to awaken, to break cycles, to bring light, to shift the world in ways that others cannot yet understand. These are the chosen ones. And if you feel different, if you feel like you don't belong, if you feel like the world doesn't quite see you, it is because you are one of them. To be chosen does not mean to be better than others. It does not mean that you are above anyone else. It means that your soul has agreed to something deeper, something harder, something more transformative. It means that you are here to break the patterns that have kept generations asleep. It means that your energy is too powerful to fit into the small, ordinary spaces of life. This is why you feel different. This is why you often walk alone. Because your soul is not here to blend in. It is here to rise. And rising requires solitude. It requires the courage to step outside of what is familiar, to trust yourself even when no one else understands. Have you ever noticed how sensitive you are to energy? How deeply you feel things that others ignore? How you can sense when something is wrong, even if no one says it out loud? That is not an accident. You are tuned in to a higher frequency. You are connected to something beyond what most people can see. But this gift can feel like a burden when you don't understand it. It can make you feel out of place, misunderstood, disconnected from the world around you. You may try to dim your light to fit in, to make yourself smaller so that others feel comfortable. But that is not why you are here. You are not here to fit in. You are here to shine. Say this with me. I embrace my uniqueness. I honor my path. I trust that my journey is unfolding exactly as it should. When you start to see yourself through this lens, everything shifts. You stop asking, why am I alone? And start realizing, I am alone because I am growing. I am alone because I am becoming. I am alone because my path is sacred. And not everyone is meant to walk it with me. Your solitude is not emptiness. It is power. It is clarity. It is the space where you will become who you were always meant to be. And when the time is right, the right people, the right connections, the right opportunities will find you. Not because you searched for them, but because your energy will call them in. Your thoughts are powerful. More powerful than you may realize. They do not just affect how you feel emotionally. They shape your physical health, your energy, and the way you experience life. When loneliness settles into your mind, it does not stay there. It moves through your body, through your heart, through every cell. It can manifest as exhaustion, a tightness in your chest, a heaviness in your limbs. It can make you feel sluggish, disconnected, even physically unwell. This is because the body listens to the mind. Every word you speak to yourself, every belief you hold, sends signals to your nervous system. If you constantly tell yourself, I am alone, no one understands me, I will always feel this way. Your body tightens, your heart rate changes, your energy contracts, and suddenly, the loneliness feels even heavier, even more real. But what happens when you shift your inner dialogue? When you begin to speak to yourself with kindness? When you remind yourself that your solitude is not emptiness but an invitation? When you stop seeing your loneliness as proof of your unworthiness and start seeing it as a space where something new can grow? Your body would respond, your breath would slow, your heart would open, your energy would begin to shift, making space for something new. Say this with me. I am never truly alone, for love and wisdom are always within me. Close your eyes and place your hand over your heart. Breathe deeply. Let this truth sink into your body. Feel the warmth of your own presence, the steady rhythm of your heart reminding you that you are here, that you are whole, that you are deeply connected to something greater than yourself. Your thoughts shape your reality, and in this moment, you have the power to change your experience of loneliness. You have the power to step into a space of love, of trust, of deep inner peace. It all begins with the words you choose to believe. Loneliness does not come from nowhere. It has roots, deep roots, often planted in childhood. Maybe you were the child who felt unseen, the one who was told you were too sensitive, too different, too much, or not enough. Maybe you learned early on that people do not always stay, that love sometimes comes with conditions, that belonging is not always guaranteed. And so, without even realizing it, you built walls around your heart. You learned to protect yourself, to expect rejection before it even came. You convinced yourself that if you just kept your distance, if you just stayed quiet, if you just made yourself smaller, maybe the pain wouldn't come. But the loneliness came anyway, because you were never meant to shrink. You were never meant to hide. You were meant to love and be loved fully, freely, without fear. And to do that, you must heal the wounds that made you believe otherwise. One of the most powerful ways to heal is through mirror work. This may feel strange at first, but trust me, there is something deeply transformative about looking into your own eyes and speaking words of love. Stand in front of a mirror. Place your hands gently over your heart and say, I am worthy of love just as I am. Notice what comes up. Does a part of you resist? Do old beliefs try to argue? If they do not judge yourself. Simply notice. The mind holds on to old patterns, but you have the power to rewrite them. Say it again. I am worthy of love just as I am. Let this become your new truth. Every time you look into the mirror, remind yourself that you are not alone, that you are loved, that your existence is enough. Healing is not about changing who you are. It is about letting go of the lies you were taught to believe. And when you begin to see yourself with love, the world around you will begin to reflect that love back to you. The relationship you have with yourself sets the foundation for every relationship in your life. If you do not love yourself, if you do not honor yourself, how can you expect others to? Many people search for connection outside of themselves, hoping that a relationship, a friendship, or a community will fill the emptiness they feel inside. But true connection does not come from seeking. It comes from becoming someone who is so deeply at peace with themselves that they naturally attract the right people, the right experiences, the right energy. If you want to find love, start by giving it to yourself. If you want deep, meaningful friendships, start by being a friend to yourself. If you want to feel seen, start by seeing yourself. Here is a practice that will change everything. Write a letter to your younger self. Speak to them as you would a child who needs comfort. Tell them they are loved. Tell them they are enough. Tell them that the loneliness they feel now is not forever. As you write, you may feel emotions rise. Let them. This is healing. This is you reclaiming the love you have always deserved. Say this with me. I am enough, just as I am. I am worthy of love, and I choose to love myself deeply and completely. Breathe in these words. Let them settle in your heart. You do not need to be anything other than who you are to be worthy of love. And when you start to believe that, the world around you will begin to reflect it. Self-love is not selfish. It is necessary. It is the foundation upon which everything else is built. And when you learn to love yourself fully, the loneliness that once felt so overwhelming begins to fade. Because suddenly you are no longer seeking love, you are radiating it. And love always attracts love. Always. The world teaches us to fear being alone. It tells us that if we are alone, something is wrong. That we should always be surrounded by people, always busy, always engaged in something. But what if that is a lie? What if being alone is not something to escape, but something to embrace? Think about the most peaceful places in the world. A quiet forest where the trees stand tall, undisturbed, soaking in the energy of the earth. A mountain peak, high above the noise of the world, watching the sunrise. The ocean, endless and vast, humming with the rhythm of the universe. None of these places are lonely. They are full of life, full of wisdom, full of power. And you too are like this. Your solitude is not emptiness. It is a sacred space. A space where you can hear your own voice, where you can reconnect with your soul, where you can listen to the wisdom that has always been within you. People who fear being alone often fill their lives with distractions, constant socializing, entertainment, noise. But distractions do not bring peace. They only delay the moment when you have to face yourself. And when you finally do, you realize that solitude was never the enemy. It was the doorway to your own strength. Begin treating your alone time as sacred. Instead of feeling sad about it, use it for self-care. Light a candle, sit in stillness, write in a journal, meditate. Make space for your own thoughts without rushing to drown them out. Say this with me. I am at peace with my solitude. My alone time is a gift, a space for me to grow, to heal, and to become my highest self. When you embrace solitude, you step into your power. You begin to see that you do not need validation from the outside world, that everything you have been looking for is already within you. Everything in this universe is energy. Every thought, every feeling, every person you meet carries a frequency. And the frequency you hold within yourself determines the kind of people and experiences you attract. Have you ever noticed that when you feel good, when you are at peace, when you are loving life, people are drawn to you? And yet, when you feel heavy, when you believe you are unworthy, you find yourself surrounded by situations and people who reflect those same feelings? This is not a coincidence. It is the law of energy. Like attracts like. Many people who feel alone struggle with deep wounds of rejection, abandonment, or self-doubt. And these wounds create a frequency, one that unconsciously attracts relationships that reinforce those very feelings. This is why, until you heal, you may find yourself in friendships or relationships that make you feel even more alone. But the moment you shift your energy, everything changes. When you begin to love yourself, to believe in yourself, to walk with confidence in who you are, you naturally attract people who see your worth, people who honor your energy, people who reflect back the love you have cultivated within yourself. Say this with me. I am a magnet for love, friendship, and harmony. The energy I radiate attracts the right people into my life. Instead of chasing after relationships, focus on raising your own vibration. Do things that bring you joy. Speak to yourself with kindness. Surround yourself with beauty. The right people will come, not because you searched for them, but because your energy called them in. While solitude is powerful, human connection is also a gift. And when you have spent time healing, loving yourself, and raising your vibration, you will naturally begin to attract the right people into your life. But attraction alone is not enough. You must also take inspired action. This does not mean forcing yourself into situations that feel wrong or pretending to be someone you are not. It means stepping into the world with an open heart, knowing that the right connections will find you when you show up as your authentic self. Start by asking yourself, what kind of connections do I truly desire? Do I want deep friendships, a supportive community, a partner who understands me? Then begin aligning your actions with these desires. If you want deeper friendships, seek out spaces where people share your interests. Join a group, take a class, start a conversation. If you want to feel understood, be willing to share your truth. Open up, be vulnerable, let people see the real you. If you want a loving relationship, release the belief that you have to settle for less. And most importantly, learn to set boundaries. Not everyone is meant to walk with you. Not everyone will match your energy, and that is okay. Choose relationships that nourish your soul, not drain it. Say this with me. I welcome only relationships that nurture and uplift my soul. I am surrounded by love in all its forms. When you stop chasing and start trusting, when you let go of relationships that no longer serve you and open space for something better, everything begins to align. You have spent so much time wondering why you are alone, wondering what is wrong with you, wondering why the world does not seem to recognize your value. But today, I want you to see yourself through new eyes. You are not alone because you are unworthy. You are not alone because something is wrong with you. You are alone because you are growing. You are evolving. You are being shaped into someone extraordinary. Your solitude has given you strength. It has given you wisdom. It has prepared you for something greater. And when the time is right, the right people will come into your life, not to complete you, but to walk beside you as equals, as reflections of the love you have already found within yourself. The world may not have recognized your light yet, but that does not mean it is not shining. And when the time comes, when you step fully into who you are meant to be, you will look back and realize that every moment of solitude was leading you here. Say this one last time with me. I am loved. I am worthy. I am never truly alone. Trust your journey. Everything is unfolding exactly as it should.